What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Off the Grid, a Power Rangers podcast. I am your host, Jacob Bartley, and this is the All Power Rangers podcast where we talk everything going on the Morphin Grid. That includes comics, television, movies, anything going on in the world of Power Rangers, including toys. We are going to talk about it here on Off the Grid, a Power Rangers podcast. Thank you all for joining me. If this is your very first time, I am just a grown adult who grew up watching Power Rangers and still has a love for this property, still has a love for this mythology, and I think it is one of the most misunderstood, underrated science fiction, fantasy type things fictional properties that exists, and I think it has so much potential, and I love it so much, so I'm here to talk about it every week. On Tuesdays at 6 p.m., either premiering or actually live. Premiering this week, as we have the last couple weeks, but sometimes got to pre-record these. But yes, today is a very simple episode. We are just going to be reviewing Mighty Morphin #1. We have a new run to review. Got it right here, and this is from, of course, Ryan Parrott. And we also have Rena and Biamonte working on this as well. Typically, that is the artist and the person who does the lettering, I'm assuming. I need to look more into that and actually give them props. But yes, so we have one of these new runs starting. And there's supposed to be another new run starting just called Power Rangers that focuses more on the Omega Rangers. And of course, they're going to a crossover. Before we dive deep into that issue, just want to wish everybody a great day. Hope everybody's safe and well. Hope you're staying safe and well. Treat others with kindness and stay safe and do not keep spreading this damn virus. But also, please go to TeePublic and you can pick up a shirt like these, the new logo. Amazing, from Jake Berlin. Go to TeePublic, search artist Jake Berlin, or you can get it under our umbrella podcast, Apocalypse Movies, APOCAFLIX, and you can find some Off the Grid merchandise there at TeePublic. Let's get into this. So, I reviewed Mighty Morphin Power Rangers number 55, which was the last one, I'm assuming, and I named the title of that video. Well, there was two parts to it. One of the parts was, who is the new Green Ranger? And I've been talking about this for over a year. And I thought we were going to possibly get the answer last issue. And this is a spoiler review if you didn't know already. I thought we were going to get the answer in this issue. We still don't know. And I don't mean to make my titles misleading. That's why I put a question mark at the end of it. I'm not saying the new Green Ranger is. I'm just saying who is the new Green Ranger, meaning I'm going to speculate on it. So yet again, I'm speculating on this, but we do have more information. And before I forget about that, let me put something in my notes that is actually very important. And I'll tell you what that is once I get to it. And it has to do with Draken and whether he's the Green Ranger or not. Okay. All right. So, first off, I love the opening of this issue. So, we open up in an underwater world, or I don't know if the whole entire planet is underwater, but it's kind of like an Aquaman type feel. And the planet is called Artavius. And you have these kind of superhero Power Ranger-esque people that are referenced as the Guardians in this, and they're taking on this other race called the Hartunians, I believe, and they're battling it out. The Hartunians are trying to take over this planet and overthrow the rulers there and make it their own. These Guardians are defending it, and the Hartunians trying to use this monster called the Ortovox to take them out. Totally sounds like some Power Ranger names, right? It totally fits. I love this opening. First of all, really cool stuff, really cool mythology. Second of all, looks amazing. Like, if you sat somebody down and said, and didn't show them the cover of this and just said, here, start from page 1, they'd be like, ooh, this looks cool, this looks amazing. And I say that because you have people who maybe love comics, but you can't get them to read a Power Rangers comic, but you just show them the opening of this, it looks beautiful. So shout out to the art. It just looks amazing. And then we find out that, I don't know if the whole team of Guardians were from Eltar, but we see their blue skin, and one of them is Zordon. So Zordon was on this mission, and this was millions of years ago, it says, or something, or thousands of years ago. And we know Zordon's been around for a while, and he used to be a Power Ranger. So I love this opening. I love seeing Zordon in action, and it kind of ties into some of the stuff that Zordon talks about later on in this issue. So we cut to modern day. Zordon and Alpha have been searching for this Green Ranger ever since the ending of the last issue. Billy knows who it is. He's been working with Grace Randolph at Promethea to bring this Green Ranger out to help. So, as far as we know, only Billy and Grace know who the Green Ranger is. I've speculated, I think it's Matt, the character Kim's ex-boyfriend that we got introduced to in Go-Go Power Rangers. They teased that it might be Draken because last issue we saw Grace go to Draken's cell and ask him if he wanted to redeem himself. They're playing with our emotions here. So basically the point of this little scene here is to show us that Billy's pulling a fast one on everybody. Zordon and Alpha are working hard to find this Green Ranger, and he's there to make sure that to kind of steer them in the wrong direction, I'm assuming. So we have arguably the most moral character in Power Rangers, at least from the original teams, being a little mischievous here. So then we cut to the crew's at lunch. They're talking about the Green Ranger. Adam's a little suspicious about it. And we find, a little bit later, we find out that they keep asking Billy questions. And then Aisha tells Kimberly later that, and a couple pages later, that she's really concerned about Billy. And if anybody could hide this and know who it is, it would be Billy. But before that, we cut to Zed's castle, and he's unconscious after fighting the Green Ranger last time, and when the Green Ranger blew up the Green Chaos Crystal, and it exploded and kind of knocked Zed out right after he transported back to his castle. So he's laying down. The minions are debating whether or not they're kind of debating what to do. One of them suggests that they should maybe get rid of Zed, because when he wakes up, he's going to blame them for the failure. But some of them are very loyal and aren't going to stand for that, like Goldar. And he says, no, let's get the Green Ranger so when he wakes up, we can have a prize for him, because he threatened the Green Ranger in the last issue and he wants revenge. So they walk out and they start talking about their plan, and we see Zed's hand move. This is where we cut to the school, and here's the thing. If you've been listening to the last couple episodes, you've been hearing me bring back up my theory that Matt is gonna be the new Green Ranger. And there's so much evidence to it. Maybe I should make a theory video just on that and track all my evidence from the beginning. I should get on that if I'm gonna do it before it's revealed who the Green Ranger is. So stay tuned. I might work on that. But basically, they're throwing us all these different options, right? Is it Draken? Is it Matt? Is it somebody else? They're trying to dissuade you from who you might think it is. And they would not, if Matt wasn't a possibility, they would not keep bringing him back and having him being this issue. Because as a Power Rangers fan, you're reading this and you're wondering, who's Matt, or who's the Green Ranger? And if you're somebody like me who speculated Matt this whole time, Ironically, Matt shows up, and we learned from past issues that Rocky and Matt have a friendship. They used to play against each other in football when Rocky was at his other school. So it gives perfect window for Matt to come into the story somehow. So we see Rocky and Matt working out. Tommy walks up and he's like kind of an asshole to him. And then, Rocky goes to work out with Tommy. And he's, like I said, this is the first time Rocky and Matt are meeting. Matt tells him, yeah, I used to date Kim. So, and we know I believe Kim and Tom are together at this point in the comics. If not, obviously they always liked each other pretty much since they met. And then we see Bulk and Skull walking through the hallway with Candace, who I believe we met Candace before. And Skull was getting Burke was getting a little jealous that Skull had a girlfriend now. So she kind of came out of nowhere. If I'm not mistaken, I believe we met her before. And we see them walking through the halls. Of course, Bulk's getting frustrated with her, and Bulk and Skull are kind of butting heads. And because Skull has this new girlfriend, and of course, Bulk's getting jealous because his friend is spending more time with her. I gotta say real quick, what the comics have done with Bulk and Skull is amazing. Overall, just since the beginning, they don't treat them like idiots. They started their little Ranger YouTube channel where they're kind of acting like reporters going out and into the battles and risking their lives to record the Power Ranger fights and all that. Their versions in the Coin This World are incredible. Brave soldiers. One of the worst things from the TV show is Bulk and Skull. They're classic. They're nostalgic. It's fun when you're a kid, but when you watch it as an adult, it's the cringy moments. The comics, I love that the comics chose to keep Bulk and Skull involved and completely changed them and made them characters that I like and I look forward to. And I will say, while Bulk and Skull are cringy in Mighty Morphin, I forgive every cringy moment in Power Rangers in Space when there's the big battle in the season finale and Bulk and Skull are down on the ground fighting. So there is some evidence from the show that Bulk and Skull had this bravery in them, and they do have some key moments in the show where they play a part in the story and they show bravery. But I'll never forget the In Space episode when there's a bunch of citizens on the ground fighting, but these Bulk and Skull characters who nobody ever took seriously are down there defending their planet without any powers is very honorable. And I feel like the comics have taken that and built upon it in these comics. So I love that. And they're just characters who have more depth than they ever had before in these comics. So that leads us to this Skull having a girlfriend and Bulk getting jealous about it, right? And we also see Aisha. This is where we see Aisha telling Kim that she's paranoid about Billy. So we go back to the command center and Billy is eating a sandwich and Zordon's oh, what's for lunch? And then they start talking about how Zordon misses kind of being in physical form and how he used to climb this needle tree to get this fruit that I think he said tastes like sunshine or whatever. And that's very interesting that they started this with Zordon and then they start talking about him reminiscing about the good old days, right? And then we also have the end tag of the comic, which we'll talk about here in a second. But we get to this. So after that, the panda attacks the city. Rangers head out along with Billy. They're fighting the panda. The panda says he needs to get the Green Ranger, and he says he wants to take Saba as a trophy. They fight. The Green Ranger shows up. Basically, the Green Ranger defeats the panda, and the Rangers offer. First of all, when he first shows up, the Rangers ask Alpha, is Draken in his cell? And this is what I was talking about, something I didn't want to forget. They say, is Draken in his cell? And Alpha says affirmative. So unless they're pulling some type of trickery, unless Grace Randolph is having like a hologram in the cell while Draken's out, or some other type of trickery, basically they ruled out that Draken is the Green Ranger, which I kind of figured was going to happen. But who knows? We'll see. he's still a possibility. And I think having Matt show up in this issue makes him another possibility. So we have Draken, we have Matt. I have two other speculations which I'll talk about at the end of the show. But they kind of steer away from Draken in this issue. They all but confirm that it's not Draken, but I still think there's like a 10 to 15% chance that it's Draken. Whoever it is, it's going to surprise us. So the Green Ranger defeats the Panda, and Tommy and the Rangers offer, hey, join us. Like, we can use your help. And he teleports away. So now we're near the end of the issue. Zed, we go back to Zed's castle. He's awake. He has green flowing through him. And the minions are like, no, we failed. The panda failed. And Zed's like, don't even worry about it. I'm back. I got this green chaos energy flowing through me. And he says, all my demons are returning. So it looks like Zed's going to bounce back and be pretty powerful for going forward. And I love that because, look, I'm excited about the new big bad villains coming. But I love my classic, the Rangers against Zed. And Zed is my favorite Power Rangers villain. And I still love the Rangers versus Rita, but we got a lot of that in these comics already. So I want to see Zed kick some butt. So I'm excited about this going forward. So after that, the last part of the comic, we see Skull and Candace walking down an alley. And I knew something was up with Candace. They brought her in and focused on her, put emphasis on her really quickly. And I was like, there's a reason for that. It's not just to give Skull a girlfriend and to have Bulk get jealous about it. So I think there's something going on there. Or I thought there was something going on there. And of course, she's like, oh, I forgot my phone. Can you go get it? And he runs to go get it. And we find out that Candace is from Eltar. She's on Earth for some reason. So Eltar is the planet that Zordon's from. And so she's from the same planet as Zordon. And same species, same race as Zordon. So Candace is there. Now, or is that Candace is Eltarian or whatever they want to call it. So I said I had two other speculations. Now, you got to think about this, right? Who would Grace bring on to be the Green Ranger? Who would Billy be okay with being the Green Ranger? Not that she has to listen to him, but they've been working together on this. And who would make sense? Now, like I said, Draken is a possibility. He's been rolled out by the comics, but he's still a possibility. Like, they want you to think that Draken's rolled out is what I mean. Matt is a possibility because he's always has been, and there's a reason why he's here in this story. They could have just forgot about Matt. And I'll tell you what, when I went to Power Morphicon in 2018, the writers were up doing a panel, and they brought up Matt, and one of them brought up Matt, and they basically hinted that they had big plans for Matt. So that I witnessed that at Power Morphicon. So that's another reason why I've always thought he's possibly going to be the new Green Ranger, and that they can do something with him. And my theory about the Green Ranger started way before they ever hinted at bringing the Green Ranger back. I always said they're going to find a way to reactivate the green crystal or the green coin and bring a Green Ranger back so they can have a team that has the White Ranger and the Green Ranger. It's just something too cool to not do. So I've been saying that they're going to do this, and my theory was always Matt. So he's an option. I have another theory that it might be Zordon, because he was talking about how he misses being in physical form, and maybe they find a way for Zordon to become in physical form and be a Ranger again. That would be pretty cool. I'd be down for that. The only reason I don't think it's that is because Zordon and Alpha are... I don't think Zordon would waste Alpha's time looking for the Green Ranger if it was him. So that's probably the least likely, but it's still a possibility. And fourth possibility is it Candace? Think about it. Maybe she knows, maybe Grace knows that Candace is there, and maybe Billy knows, and that's who the Ranger is. That would be pretty cool. I mean, they already have 4 guys and 2 girls. Why not add another female to the team? And yeah, I would be down for that. Unless, like I said before, which, look, the Ranger uniforms, when it's a woman, they show that it's a woman, that the women have breasts and they have it's a little bit tighter, right? So you can tell when it's a woman in a morphed suit, opposed to a man. And the Green Ranger they're showing us looks like a man, but it could be a woman, meaning it could be Candace. And I just thought of this right now. What if it's Catherine? I mean, I said before that it might be a character that we know from the mythology that hasn't been introduced in this timeline yet. So it could be Catherine, but I doubt it. But I'm still going with it's Matt. I think because Billy wasn't okay with Draken being the Green Ranger. And I'm guessing when Grace went to talk to Draken, it didn't work out. He was like, nah, I'm not doing that. So I think that Billy knows that Matt is aware of everything going on. He knows that they're the Power Rangers. And why not give it to somebody who already knows, who Billy probably would trust and knows is an honorable person and already knows they're the Power Rangers. Doesn't have to break their world saying that the Power Rangers go to your high school or the Power Rangers are just kids and we're the Power Rangers. So my number one choice is Matt, but it might be Draken still. I don't know. I want to know what you guys think. Who is your number one choice? Who do you want it to be? And who do you think it is? Let me know in the comment section. Is it anybody that I said? Out of the 5 people that I said, is it Matt? Is it Draken? Is it Zordon? Is it Candace? Is it maybe somebody like Catherine, who we know when she first showed up in the show, she was kind of a bad guy. Not that this Green Ranger is a bad guy, but it would be a pretty cool twist if they did that. And then somehow she has to become the Pink Ranger again if maybe the green power coin doesn't last that long. Because we know it was gone and it had to come back, so maybe it doesn't last that long again. Or do you think it's possibly Zordon, Candace? I'm curious to know, who do you want it to be and who do you think it most likely is? Let me know in the comment section. That's going to do it for this episode of Off the Grid, a Power Rangers podcast. Again, I am your host, Jacob Bartley. Thank you for watching this video. If you have not yet, subscribe to this YouTube channel if you want to hear all things Power Rangers speculation. We have this potential new movie TV universe coming from Hasbro and E1 and Jonathan Entwistle, and I'm going to be covering all of that. So stay tuned, subscribe to Off the Grid. Thank you again for watching. Until next time, may the power protect you.